Alright, this is November 8 Echo Mike. I wanted to do a video with full screen. The split screen made it maybe a little difficult to see everything that was going on here in the Orion Control software, so we'll do another video with a little more details, some of the other features that the program offers, and just focus on the Orion Control versus bringing in what's going on the other monitor. Let's see this rosette for my rotor. Let's open up the display here, and let's just turn that off just to clean up the display. While we're in the display, let's open up the view, and here's some additional features that were not talked about in the first video. So we have the Blu-ray background. I have my call sign watermarked in the background. We can turn that off and on. You can set your own call sign. You can put whatever message you'd want in there. Your grid square is going to set up where additional features with the maps that we're going to demonstrate will be set here in the grid square. Okay, let's turn that off as well. Let's go to the classic view. You now see we have a world map going on. We have the solar data displayed and where the sun position is on the map. We have the grayscale and we're getting close to darkness here. It's about 6:30 Eastern Time. Some of the other displays, we can lay in the VOACAP. So this tells me here on 40 meters I can still make it into Europe yet. In fact, actually that's gaining as we go into darkness. S9, we have a good portion of the continental US around my QTH here in Michigan available. S7, very nice, and S5 most of the country. So 40 meters is real good right now, and going to get better as we go into darkness. Let's open another view. We have a globe view of the same information. Now we can see that same overlay with the VOACAP turned on, my grid square marked, the sun position, and the overall view of the Earth, top down. And we can see where the darkness line is here. We can turn off that VOACAP as well. And yes, you'll see some bouncing going on here. We have some static crashes for lightning here in the area. Not real close to us, but picking it up here on 40 meters. Over here on the far left, if you click on this, you can then adjust your gain level very easily. And on the waterfall, that is separately controlled, where you can dial that down or dial it up as you desire for the display. Another feature in the software. Let's go back to some of the map views. There's a vegetation view, and you notice here we have sliders where we can increase the darkness, decrease that. We can increase the light, decrease the light. So it's user configurable there for those. We can use some photoshopped backgrounds as well, where you can Photoshop whatever you desire. This is just one I have. It doesn't come out with the program because obviously this is a trademark, and I can't distribute that. but anything you Photoshop in, you can put there on the screen as well. I used a kind of a Star Trek theme here when I first started with the program, so I had a bunch of that going on, and various different displays for that. That's kind of a cool one. With the one of the Enterprises looking back at Earth for the background. Fairly clean. Anyway, in the program it's there where you can do that. Here's one that's interesting. Photoshopped in the model number of the Orion. They're on a Star Trek ship. Silly stuff you can do with the program. Let's go back to the clean view. So let's see. Let's just kind of run across the top bar here. We have the S meter kind of emulating the Orion meter. We didn't use the Ten Tec logo, so we would not get into any issue with trademarks. Orion is a constellation, so that's what we have here. And if you tab this, you can go through various SDR type of S meters. The second one here works very well with the Omni 7, and what this does is actually, when you have the Omni 7 running, you might have the RF gain dialed way back, and the SWR meter then is not accurate in the Omni 7. Here in the software, it's using the SDR play information and giving you a good S meter reading. So, and this will switch to Omni 7 in that view when you're running that. To get to the Omni 7, if you have an Omni 7 radio, you have the choice of serial here and the Ethernet connection here. When you load this one, it's when you're opening the radio with the number 2 button pushed and you're going into Ethernet. And you can run the Ethernet cable then straight into your computer or into your router and run it remotely. The Magic Eye. A Drake version. Since I'm an old guy, this is kind of a cool one. The TR7 meter, although it is arced like the Orion instead of flat like the Drake, but kind of a Drake view. And back to the first one. In the VFO, obviously we can mute and unmute. When we click the lock button, it actually enables the lock button on the front of the radio and locks the VFO. So if I were to bump the VFO on the radio, it disables that, so it doesn't turn the VFO. If I unlock that, I can go on the front panel of the radio and turn my VFO. Right now I'm on just 10 Hertz tuning. If I tap the main RX, I now have that 100 Hertz tuning, and so you can see how the software works just seamlessly with the front of the radio. So if I prefer to run front panel, that's fine. It doesn't interfere with the software at all, and I'm able to just use my VFO if I prefer to use that to tune around versus the mouse with the point and click. The center tune button or click to tune, right now with that enabled, what it does is it locks the screen so we don't bring everything to the center, and allows us to go wherever we want here. Well, that I got a little too close and it brought it to the center, but for the most part it keeps that from making that change. If we turn this off, it brings everything to the center automatically. So watch, if I tune this station, it zaps it to the center, which is okay, but for me, I kind of like to have this engaged and see what I'm doing a little more clearly in my brain, the way that works, so that we're able to navigate without it clicking to center every time, although when I get near a band edge it still does it. If you zoom out and back in, we can go from looking at much of the band to obviously a closer in viewpoint of the band. And there's the entire band from 7 to 7300. What if you want more? So you notice when I'm in the center bar, I can, a couple of arrows pop up and I can use my mouse and drag the Panadapter view. But then if I right click, I now can go out of band and drag and look. Oh, here's a station I want to listen to on AM. Yeah, not really, but if I desired to, I can go anywhere using the SDR play. And then of course in the Orion, the sub receiver is a general coverage receive, even with my RX 366 that my Orion has. I have a couple of Orions, one with the Jupiter sub-receiver and one with the Eagle sub-receiver, the RX 366 version here at November 8 Echo Mike. So now we're a little more than the band, but if we just do this, we're back to the full band. What else? Let's see, we talked about the antenna selection. So if you have multiple antennas connected to your Orion, this lets you select them quickly here. If you have a receive only antenna, right now at my QTH we're very quiet at this one. Prior QTH I had a lot of noise. I owned a campground and I had a receive loop, mag loop antenna that I used, and that would be very handy to select that either for the main or the sub receiver. Now you notice here, if I select on the sub receiver, that receive only antenna that I don't have one of, my screen goes pretty blank. What goes blank? Because on the Orion I'm sharing the sub receiver antenna to the SDR play, which is a simple modification. I have another video here on my YouTube channel how to do that. It's very simple, little bit of solder work, but the Orion was set up to do this way before SDR even came out. So it lets you share that sub receiver antenna out to the SDR play. So if I had a second antenna on the radio, I'd be able to select that, and if I had a receive only antenna, I would be able to select that out to this Panadapter. In my setup right now with a quiet location, I don't use either of those. I just have my antenna 1 port being used on the Orion, so that's the only one that's giving data to the SDR play. On the split function, we talked about that in the first video, but just to go over that with the just one monitor here, it makes it maybe a little more clear. So we go split. We're listening to this station here.
Yeah, we work with. He always called him Mr. Snuggles. I remember that. But anyway, yeah, I'm an hour drive from the Virginia Beach oceanfront, so yeah, we can get.
And currently we don't have any stations up 5 real close. This is interesting. Oh yeah, the 7200 group. Somebody's sending CW there. Yeah, that's a great frequency to listen to if you want some entertainment. Anyway, if we right click, the BVFO jumps to the frequency. So again, just think if you're running split, working a DX station that's operating split, he's working a pile up, he says I'm listening up 5. So we start out up 5 automatically. But then pretty soon we realize he's not working just up 5, he's working up 20. And he's listening anywhere in between. So in the view we can see who's transmitting, who we might be listening to. We can right click and move that BVFO anywhere we desire, even on 7200, and we can listen to them. We won't do that here on the video for possibly swear words that might come up. But anyway, we can right click, and at the same time we can come over here to the audio tab. I have mine set up currently, so if I had my headset on, I'd be listening to VFO-A in my left ear and VFO-B in my right ear, with of course both dialed up where you could listen to them instead of mute and turned off. So that's how you can quickly set that. And if I had my headset on all the time, I'd probably have where I'm listening to both. So this is a menu item inside the Orion, but now it's in software. Super easy to control that. I have my speaker set up for both, but if for some reason I wanted to just listen to A or B, I can do that right there as well in that drop down. And when I go off split, we now have the BVFO as just listening on the sub receiver. So if I wanted to just dual receive on 2 frequencies, say there's a net I'm waiting to listen to, and it's up here on 7210 or wherever, even on a different band, I can have that going and be listening to both and listening for my net to start up. Alright, let's go back out to the full view. We notice we have spots going, so let's see where we've got that set up. Oh, we've got everything turned on. So we have the FT8 spots stacking in here on the FT8 frequency. We have some CW spots. It looks like POTA is coming in because I have the POTA spots selected as well. And DX spots. So on FT8 we see some DX spots coming in as well as a couple POTA stations there. What we can do is, let's just unmute and click through some of these.
Thank you for the contact, really appreciate it. And then last thing I want to say hello to Miss Caroline KC3VQP and Raccoon State Park. How do you copy Kilo 4 November Mike Bravo?
Kilo 4 November Mike Bravo, KC3VQP, 20 over, sir, 20 over.
I'll take it. Thank you for the 5-9 plus 20, you're a 5.
So what's going on there? We heard KC3VQP very clear. The other ones you notice aren't as bright of a red. So these are older spots, so they're aging, they're dying, and they're not as bright. So when I clicked on those, we didn't hear anything. I'm not seeing anything here for KK2 Whiskey. It looks like they may have finished, but clearly this one was still working. But it lets you just very quickly work your POTA stations if you're a POTA hunter. Looks like there's some down here on CW as well. So with the noise going tonight, I put on the fuzzy filter here, even the deep read, and we're not able to pull that out. But if you're able to copy CW, you realize that's the station sending CQ there, and we're just unfortunately unable to get a good printout from it. It's running a S5 signal. The noise is the same, so that's a tough copy for the reader here. The reader works actually very well. Let's see if we get on a little stronger station here. So not a bad print. Relaxing, sitting on the deck, stay cool, blah blah blah. Gave the call signs. Sounded like he's using a bug maybe. Now we're seeing the other station calling CQ. And a nice clear signal, CQ, KA2, DDX calling CQ. Actually, I think that was the station up here. So as he's calling CQ, he's sending a little cleaner. Whenever folks are using a bug or a straight key, it's a little tough copy. What else? On the first video, we also showed, did we show the skimmer? I don't think I did. So here's the CQ from KA2 DDX. Calling CQ with the spaces in there. It's reading him out as KA2D. He's got a little pause there before he's finishing up his call sign. But the skimmer is attempting to decode everything in the passband there that's in the CW portion of the band. Right now, just look at the signal strength's not real good, and so it's struggling. Station calling CQ here, that's not too bad, and we can click on that. Oh, he quits right as I click on it. But anyway, the CW skim function here in Linux, this is totally developed for this program, and is not a copy of any other software that's out there for Windows. It was painstakingly developed. Didn't copy it well at all, and we just kept playing with it and playing with it until finally we got where, look at that, KD1MD. It's coming through nice. And he's only a 5.5 to 5.7 signal. So that's amazing to me. But pretty nice for the skimmer. I had it running in the Worked All Europe contest this weekend, and it was amazing. The stations that this will do 24 channels, so 24 stations, and the readout that we were getting here with the skim function. I'm a CW operator, so just got to mention some of these nice CW features in the Orion Control and Omni 7 control programs. Let's turn off that view of the BVFO. So here we were clear down on CW, and you see I had my BVFO clear up here. It's still there because we're looking at the whole band. so you can see where the BVFO is. And we see what's going on FT8. We've got quite a bit of European activity coming in here. Some Canadian stations, Germany coming in tonight, some Europe. And if you don't want to work FT8, that's fine. You can just click that off, and now you're back to some POTA stations. If you're not working POTA, you can just turn the POTA off, and now you're focused on Delta X-ray, North America spotters. So that's gonna, anything spotted by a North American station is gonna come in here. And you can change that if you prefer to have spots from, whoops, get on the right tab here, from other areas. The spotter area. Right now I'm selected on North America, but if I wanted to go all spots, you can change that and then bring in spots from around the world. I don't see the value in that for me personally, because somebody copying somebody in Europe isn't very beneficial for me here in Michigan. So I like to keep it on just North American spotters to keep it clear. In the display tab, lots and lots of features here. If you want grid lines on, you can turn those on. If you don't want that solar data when you're looking at the classic view, you can turn that sun feature off and not have that. And that's also in the globe view. So if you don't want the sun view there, you can turn it off. So quite a few things that are user configurable. My station, I have a high gain ham 4 rotor for my tower, and I have this compass rose that lets me control my rotor. I have the DCU3, which integrates with the computer. And you notice I must have clicked on one of those POTA stations. So we have that here. It shows me their heading. And if I want to go there, I can just click on this. If I can get that to quit doing that. And now my rotor starts moving. So the blue is where the rotor's pointing, and now I'm swinging down to the southeast here. 162 degrees. And I look at my DCU3 and we see it just kind of coasting now, and then it's going to engage the brake, and we're at 162 degrees. And if I want to go back to Europe, I just click here, and then that is taking me back to 48 degrees. If I want to be more precise, I can click on the rotor and actually enter in a manual setting here and click go to an exact heading if I want to do it like that, versus using the compass rose here feature. If you don't have a rotor, you can just turn that off and not have that blocking any of your view. Or even if you do, and I don't want to be using it at the minute, I can turn that off. Or I can minimize it, which is how I usually run it. Just minimize there. It works the same exact way, it's just smaller, so it doesn't block my Panadapter. Looks like we got someone running AM up here at the very top of the band. Let's click on that for fun. Now this goes into sideband. I don't have it auto AM, so I have to click on that.
10 over, maybe 15 over, something like that on you, Brian. A little up and down, but I mean, you're solid. You're in the clear. Flex sounds great as always. It's
and I'm at about 6,000 hertz right now.
You're huge. 30, 35. You are full quiet. You are.
So dragging the filter, I'm now at 4,000 hertz.
The voice
and it doesn't look like he's sending much signal out wider than 6,000, so he might be using a radio that doesn't transmit real wide. But if he was running a true AM station or Ten Tec Orion, we can go out to basically 8K wide with the Orion. Beautiful AM on the Ten Tec Orion or Omni 7, and you can just grab that filter.
W9OTN and make sure Bruce is okay. I talk to Bruce on 160. Excuse me, from time to time. Well, I haven't heard from him in a couple.
And there's 9K wide for the receive signal. And again, just with the visual, it lets us know doing that with this particular station is a waste of time. He doesn't have any energy out there.
Weather just going okay. No, it's for northern Indiana. I'm not in Illinois yet, pretty good, so. For sure. Yeah, it was raining.
So he's AM, but not the full fidelity that he could be, because that's only a 4,000 hertz bandwidth.
Yeah, complaining about it or nothing. It is the weather. Like they say in the Midwest, it'll change within a matter of minutes. So, anyway, what was that?
109 beat index today, Robert. 107. Man. We'll send that up to you. I don't think you're snowman right now. No, I think it's...
So that's the software synchronous AM, and if I click that again, it's going to go on the lower sideband side.
Prometheus loop, so nothing new here. Just spinning the wheels out in the summer.
It actually doesn't sound bad, especially with this station running a little narrower than normal. What that does is attempt to track the carrier. It operates in lower sideband, widens out the signal, and then attempts to track the carrier. So it's kind of a software version, since the Orion doesn't support synchronous AM. It's a software version of that, and you see it actually sounds pretty good.
M3 DVW, W0 Victor Mike Charlie. Yeah, that's great stuff there too. Grab that box there next week and get it in your truck.
Ship that today, or not today, but Tuesday. This miracle too.
So they take in your truck. If you're sitting at those stations,
I don't know if they're not weigh stations. They're probably, the business you're dumping, and I don't know if they weigh you there, however it goes. But
all right, so that's a brief view of working some AM here, just to demonstrate another feature of the software. Only point of that. I do operate some AM with the Orion and the Omni 7, and I get generally comments about how good they sound on AM, because they transmit 8K wide, and the fidelity in the radios is very, very good. And I like to run them actually on sideband at 4K if the band's not busy. I get comments often about, boy, your audio is amazing. It's just running a little wider. But some don't like that. If the band's busy, you're going to QRM somebody, so you have to use it within reason. But here at my station, if the band, and again, another feature of this software is it lets you see, is there somebody next to us? No. Well, then why not open up and have your signal sound really good? And that's what I like to do. Looks like we're getting a few more CW signals down here just for fun. Let's open that skimmer back up. See what's going on. Got our... Oh, I see. I'm tuned up here, so it's got my skimmer not down here in the Oh, so W1AW practice session is coming on. QST, this is W1AW coming in here on 7047.5, I believe. So that's that strong one I was seeing there on the. So the skimmer is really cool, or skim functions, not to use anybody else's maybe trademark version. And again, I keep going back to CW, and I know probably most people listening to the video here aren't CW operators, but lots of features for me to use. But anyway, get the concept of the software. It's letting you control really anything, any peripheral in your station. So if your rotor, this is linked to FL Digi, this window, and it'll give you the decode here that you got going on with FL Digi, which of course you could have on a separate monitor or overlay within this Orion Control or Omni 7 control software. If you want to keep the view a little more clean, you can just open the window here in the software. The CW copy window, again, just I keep going back to CW, but it's nice to have the ability to type. This is a full keyboard operation, so I can type. I can grab my paddle and send with the paddle. It doesn't interfere with this at all. And then copy, and if I was zoomed in on an actual signal here, we'd probably get a printout. I have a 0-beat function as well, so it'll 0-beat in on the signal that you're trying to drill into. We have the band stacks, A, B, C, and D. So here on 40 meters, let's just click through these, see what we've got. So here's my VFOA. I'm on 7050, 7294, back to where we were listening to the AM station. Click it again, I'm at 7063. Each stack is just going where you were at last on that band stack. So B's back on, it looks like W1AW. Because I was on this AM mode, it's got me stuck there. So let's get off that. I see there's one little flaw. When we go into AM, it's staying with that AM signal. Let's do this again. So there's 7050. There's the AM station. Now we're in lower sideband. Now we're back down here in the CW portion of the band, and our mode is tracking with the band stack correctly. What else? The log button, I think we talked about that in the first video. That kicks over to CQR log, opens a fresh page there if we want to quickly reset that. Going down to the bottom, we have the power selection here. 0 to 100 when we're running barefoot. I run a Ten Tec Titan 3 amplifier. The station here, I'm a major Ten Tec fan, so I have basically everything that I feel was the high end of Ten Tec. So the Ten Tec Titan 3 was their last amplifier. I bought this from the original owner, and this is the 40th anniversary edition, so it's got the sticker on the original box and all this. But anyway, my amplifier, if I click this, I don't want to run over 40 watts of drive into it, and so this will limit it to what I have set here. And for most all the bands, 40 is it. I don't want more than that. 15 meters is a little weird. That takes a little more drive, and so I might kick that up. And right here in this window, I can bump that up if I want to, or of course keep it at the 40 that I like. The tune button is the tune right on the front of the radio, so if I click that, I don't think there's a signal there. It's going to transmit. and give me my SWR reading. I use a manual tuner here, so let's see what happens if I'm on 40 meters. I have no idea where I'm at here, and so that timed out. We're about 229 on my LP100. I use the Ten Tec 238C tuner, and that works really well with the high power amplifier. And I'm just looking at my front of my LP100, and that gets us down to 1-to-1 with a couple little adjustments there with that unit. And then this is where I can set my tune level. So for the amplifier, again, it's a manual tune amplifier. Tune's super quick and easy, but how much do I want to tune with? 30 watts is a good level. That'll let me get my amplifier tuned. And if I want to engage, if I was, say, running barefoot, I would probably go back here to 100 watts. I'd engage the manual tuner. I'm sorry, the auto tuner in the radio, which is a menu setting. So right here, it's now just a button in the software, and I click the tune button, and now the radio tunes, engages the, maybe you heard that, and there we go. We're now tuned in the radio to, and it doesn't tune as good as if I manually tune. 1-to-1. Although the radio is clicking a little different there in that readout than what we actually are. There we go, 1-to-1. We have the mic gain setting here, the transmit bandwidth. Unfortunately, the Orion and the Omni 7 do not bring out the low frequency cutoff or the EQ settings in the radio, so you need to still do those in the front panel. We have a few versions of settings though. So for Reg Chew, I have that set at 3K wide, 50, processor level of 2. If I want to operate DX, I narrow that up, kick up the processor, contest even narrower. And if I want to run wide for AM or extended sideband, we click that button, and that gives us the widest setting that we can transmit. Here in the Orion is 3900, and in the Omni 7 4K wide with beautiful audio. We have a DVR recorder, so we can record. Let's click on a station here. We go to lower sideband automatically. Let's unmute.
His vision's not very good, so he depended on some help, and I was glad to do it. So 400 BEP. I'll call up the map. I was looking at something today. Control the flagpole out front. In fact, I have 2 flagpoles. The one in the back, we got the weather system on it.
So with the red, I'm recording. Let's stop it. Let's hit play.
Control the flagpole out front. In fact, I have 2 flagpoles. The one in the back, we got the weather system.
And that's a little choppy sounding. It records actually beautifully, but when I do restarts on these, I'll get that little hiccup with the audio here in Linux. But lets you listen to it, and if you right click, it'll actually play it back over there. We'll just tab back off that because I don't want to QRM him with his actual transmission there. And the voice keyer works the same way. So we can set up a voice keyer here. I can transmit, I can record, right click to record, and then stop, and then play it back. Anyway, that's a quick little more rundown, zoomed in here so you can see it better with the features. Let's go back into a good zoom here, and we demonstrated the notch filter earlier, but if you were having trouble seeing that with 2 monitors going, this lets you see it. how we can drag and drop that, roll the mouse wheel to make it wider and narrower. The spot audio filter the same way, same features. And let's see, passband tuning is right here. Zero function, you know, if you get it off and just want to quick zero it back. The noise reduction, noise blanker, and the setting right here is drag and drop. So there you go. Again, give her a spin. Give me feedback. Let me know if you're able to load the program, how it's working with your Orion or Omni 7. In the Omni 7 in serial mode, you're going to have a limited amount of features. It doesn't have quite as rich features available in the Omni 7 as the Orion. So just be aware of that. But still, I think you'll still really like the additional features that it gives you for the Omni 7 as well. I know I like it. And the SDR play with this beautiful Panadapter is just a nice addition. I use my Omni 7 mostly for 6-meter work, and having that Panadapter's been amazing here with the summer's been excellent on 6 meters, and it lets me see the whole band and drop down there and work sideband or CW stuff, and then be up on FT8 working FT8 signals as well on 6 meters. So this is the NADM 7.3, and I hope you enjoy the software.